Hey guys, welcome and thanks for watching. Today I'm going to be doing a tutorial on what's called the no makeup look. I've been getting some requests from people asking for just an everyday natural look, and so I'm going to start with a bare face and just show you how to get a really natural finish without looking like you're wearing any or too much makeup. And I'm going to show you a little trick that I have for covering those nasty little blemishes. So the first thing you want to do with any look is start with a primer. Primer is really important because it kind of fills in your pores and your fine lines so that when your makeup goes on, it goes on really smoothly and nicely, and also it helps your makeup to stay on all day long. Now I've tried a ton of different primers, and my absolute favorite is always going to be the Laura Mercier Oil-Free Primer. So I've got my primer on and I've just waited about a minute for it to dry. Now for my base, I'm not going to be using a foundation. Instead, I'm going to be using a tinted moisturizer. And I love tinted moisturizer because it just gives you a hint of color and coverage without actually looking like you're wearing makeup if you do it correctly. Now again, I love the Laura Mercier tinted moisturizer. I've tried so many different kinds and I really just love this one. What I like to do is I like to put it on my hand and then kind of just spread it out a little bit so that it's easier to pick up with the brush instead of taking the tube and like dumping it onto the brush. Now the brush that I'm using is the MAC number 187. I love this one because honestly application is so quick and easy when I use this. So what I do is I put it on my hand and I just grab a little bit with the brush and I just buff it through with just little circular motions. You can get in under your eyes, in through your nose. Don't forget to get down by your jawline. Under a minute and I've got my base on. The next step is the concealer. Now I'm using the Laura Mercier Concealer Duo. It's got an under eye concealer as well as a blemish concealer. The way you can tell the difference is if the concealer has a drier texture, then it's for blemishes, but if it's got more of an oily kind of slick consistency, then that's for your under eyes. So you want to keep your under eyes hydrated, and you definitely don't want to put anything oily on your blemishes. So the brush that you'll need is this Laura Mercier concealer brush. It's got a really fine tip. Now I've got a little trick for how to conceal blemishes and make it look like they just absolutely disappear. Start by swirling the brush in the concealer. When you begin applying, hold the brush so it's just barely touching your face. Make small circular motions with just the very tip of the brush, and slowly the appearance of the blemish or redness will begin to vanish. You don't need to press hard or use a ton of product. Just apply lightly with the finest point of the brush. You'd be surprised how little concealer you actually need to get good coverage. So for the under eye concealer, because this is supposed to be a natural look, I wouldn't apply it with a brush, and instead I just apply it with my finger. So you're going to grab some of the concealer, and you know what, rub it through onto your hand just so that you don't get too much onto your face. So you're just going to dab under your eye, and don't go all the way up to the lash line because then it's just too obvious that you're wearing concealer. Get into the corner, and the warmth of your finger dabbing onto your face will kind of melt it into your skin and make it look more seamless. So the next step is my absolute favorite one. It's contouring. The bronzer that I'm going to use is by Anastasia Beverly Hills. It's called the Illuminate with Youthful Synergy Complex Bronzer, and I'm using it in Sun Bronzed. It also comes in Sun Kissed, which is just a little bit lighter. And the brush that I'm using is fairly small because when you're contouring, you want to be able to get in there and make those definitions under your cheekbones and under your jaw and at your hairline. So I'm just going to grab some of this and get right in under my cheekbone and really blend that through. You can do the same thing you did with the tinted moisturizer and just make really tiny circles and blend that out. So you can start where your ear is, that's right under your cheekbone, and kind of just make a diagonal line, but don't go all the way to the corner of your mouth. That's just too much. You're going to blend that down under your jawline so you get that definition, and then get up to your hairline as well. When you're applying bronzer and contouring, it's kind of like a 3 formation. So you go up at your forehead into like a 3, just like that. So it's forehead, hairline, cheekbone, jawline. Repeat on the other side. You can also contour your nose by just kind of dabbing it on each side. It'll make your nose look a little more narrow. Okay, we're almost done. The next step is the blush. Now for a natural look, I would suggest using a cream blush and not a powder blush. My latest obsession is the Josie Maran Argan Oil blush. It comes in a stick form, and the color is just so pretty and universal, and application is super easy because it is in a stick. So all you really do is start at the apple of your cheek, and that's the roundest, most full part of your cheek when you smile. So that's right there. So you're just going to start dabbing it. Small little motions. Start right there. You want most of it concentrated right there on the apple of your cheek. And then you can kind of blend out a little bit, but don't go too far up with the blush. This stuff smells really good too. It's got argan oil in it, which is really good for your skin, so it's kind of like a treatment and a color at the same time. So when you're done, just take your fingers, if there's any sharp lines, you can just blend out like that. Really easy. I like to keep it natural with blush, so I keep it pretty light. So if you want to put on a little more, go for it. Now again, since this is a more natural look, I'm going to skip the eyeshadow, but we are going to add a little bit of color on the crease. What we're going to use though is the same bronzer that I used on my face, the Anastasia Beverly Hills bronzer. This is safe for your eyes because it is ophthalmologist tested, so if your eyes are sensitive, this is perfectly fine to use on your eyes. I'm using a fairly fluffy brush, and all I'm going to do is kind of run it along my crease. And you can make it really messy because it is kind of like a skin tone color. It's not any kind of wild color, you can be messy with it. So just run it along your crease. Same thing on the other side. I love this trick because you get to tackle 2 things at once. You get your bronzer and your eyeshadow in one product. Okay, so then you can just kind of blend out a little bit with your finger. So the final step is probably every girl's favorite. It's mascara. The one that I'm going to be using is also by Josie Maran. It's called the Argan Triple Volume Mascara. So it's also got good stuff in it for your lashes. It kind of conditions your lashes. And the formula just kind of makes your lashes look so much thicker and longer. So the way I like to do it really is just start at the base and kind of roll upwards. This is how I lengthen them to the max, is if you roll them, it'll really get them up there. For this look though, I would take it pretty easy on the mascara just because it is more of a natural look. So when it comes to lips for this look, I would personally just put on some lip balm with SPF in it and head right out the door. But if you want to glam it up just a little bit, you can go for kind of just a sheer pink gloss, and that'll kind of be the focus of this look because everything else is so subdued.